Hello. Good morning. Hi, everybody. How you doing? We're doing grand.
It's December.
It is.
19th. December 19th.
It is. I was driving home yesterday and I was like, Christmas is less than a week away. Oh, no.
2025 is 12.
Right around
11.
the corner. We're getting there.
Less than 2 weeks away.
We're getting there. I bet you're getting there too. Like, no problem. I believe in all of us. We're doing a great job. Yep. Well, welcome to Book Buffet. I have forgotten my identity. It's on my desk over there. I kind of ran in a little bit late today, but that was because I was bringing toffee. So it's toffee day for some staff today. Samantha already ran over. It's like, it's toffee day. So hi, my name is Courtney. I'm one of the teen librarians at the Addison Public Library, which is where we are. And you are Rachel.
Mm-hmm.
The same. The same.
Rachel the same.
Rachel the same.
What they're going to put when they in the history books. Rachel the same.
Courtney the tall and Rachel the same.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's worse monikers,
Yeah.
I suppose. Not
Yeah,
too bad.
there are.
Yeah. So yeah, we were talking about like what our theme is for this week for our books, and we were just kind of feeling incredibly rushed. But also like it's not just. It feels like this week is going forever, and also we need significantly more time to get literally anything done. So if you're kind of feeling in that same spot and you're just like, I just don't have time to commit to a massive book. Or you were saying like Goodreads challenges, or like you set yourself like a reading goal. Like, I want to read 12 books this year, which sounds like not a lot, but is weirdly impossible, right?
It's a lot. And I think it might be like the average, honestly. Like,
Yeah.
a lot of people try to go for,
a book a month. Yeah. I think there was a year once where I was like, I'm going to do 100 books. And I did like 2. And I was like, I gave up immediately.
Yeah.
I committed way over.
Yeah.
And that was when I learned a lot about myself that year.
Maybe you just want, one more on your 2024 reads.
Yep. Yeah, just finish out those little books. So we've got a bunch of books that are either very short or they read really quick for various different reasons. And we're going to give you suggestions on ways to sort of like cheat sheet your last few books.
Yeah, if today's, how many days are left in the year?
I don't want to think about that. But I can
12,
find out.
I think 12 including today. That's what I'm doing, right?
We can do a reverse advent calendar.
Yeah.
That's what you're telling me.
So think of it as 12 reading days left in the year. Not that everyone will be reading on every single one of these
Including
days,
today, I think it's 13, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
Good on you.
But
That
plenty
was
of
good
time
Yeah, plenty of time. Like a lot
to
of these,
finish up what you're currently reading, or to
Yeah.
get one last little one in.
like skimming through these, it is doable in a day. Like all of these, I
Yeah.
think, are absolutely
got-
doable in a day.
Some
And
time.
yeah, or even if you just want like you just finished out, like a massive novel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And-
sometimes you just need a
Little palate cleanser, a
Yeah.
little bit of, you're just like not in a place where you can invest a lot of energy or attention and, into places. Hi, Itchy. Glad to see that you're lurking in your meeting.
I don't know
Hope
why
it
I
goes
thought you were
well.
talking to someone in. I was like,
In the chat. Happy to
Abby.
see you as well. So yes, Itchy, if you want just a tiny book, we
Yes.
have tiny books.
some are not tiny, but they read fast.
Yes, that is true. That is very true.
Ways that books can
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Also, if you are in the Addison Public Library physically, come upstairs, and right at the top of the stairs, there's a little display called Rapid Reads, where there's a good number of books over it. Like, I can see it right now.
Mm-hmm.
There's a good number of books over there. They are all short. I can also tell you that The Martian is on there, but I talked about that one before.
Yeah.
So we're not talking about it again, even though I would love to talk about The Martian every day of my life.
Mm-hmm.
So
also next to that shelf section is the book discussion section,
Yes.
which those books are not necessarily short,
Mm-hmm.
but they're picked because they're like super readable, which
Yeah.
I feel like lends itself to reading quicker.
Yeah, because usually like book clubs are like once a month or something.
Mm-hmm.
So
It's got to be something people can get into that,
Yeah.
pulls you in quick.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, readable.
Right, exactly that.
That means.
So readable books. So the qualifications are short in some way. So either by page count or by like the amount of time it takes you to read it. Nicely engaging.
Mm-hmm.
That's a plus. And has substance. You know, you don't just want like a throwaway book. You know, you want to like actually have it worth your time, type of a thing. Like good stories in some way. And we've got just looking through, we got a lot of different genres and a lot of different kinds of books. So let's get started. All right, what are you thinking? What do you want to do?
I don't know where to start.
Brr.
I don't know where to start.
Thinkies. All right, well, let's go with Squad.
Yeah.
Uh,
Let's start there.
This one's very, very fun. It's, I would go like horror and romance. Like, so this girl, where is it? There she is, in the middle here. This girl gets into high school, and they're cheerleaders, aren't they? So it's a fancy new high school. She wants to get in with the popular girls, and she's like, what do I do to get in and be friends with them? And they're just like, oh, well, in order to hang out with us, you kind of have to like do what we do, which turns out they're werewolves. They're werewolves, and they hunt down and get rid of toxic dudes. So like, it gets vicious. Admittedly, it gets pretty vicious. There's definitely some LGBT rep in here. LGBT. That's just like shorten that way too much. LGBT rep in here, and it can get pretty graphic in terms of violence. Somebody's throat will get ripped out. You know, it's that kind of fun thing.
Yeah.
But what makes it really fast is
Yeah. Let me make sure we know.
yeah. No spoilers. Graphic novel. That's why it's a quick read. Well, not only is it fairly short, I don't even know how many pages this is, but it is a graphic novel. Graphic novels are a great option for if you want like some quick read. There's also some like really strong storylines in a lot of these graphic novels. I've got quite a few of them, but in a lot of different ways. But if you want sort of like a supernatural horror, Mean Girls-ish, but like a misguided vigilante werewolf Mean Girls, like this is a good pick.
It's a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun. I mean, it's also a great cover. Look at that.
Yeah.
When this first came out, we were kind of a little bit obsessed with it. So, yeah, have a good one. I would say like definite trigger warnings because werewolves don't keep their clothes on, but it is not graphic in that sense. But I wouldn't. If a kiddo wanted it, sure, take it. But I wouldn't. I would tell them what's inside.
Yeah.
Like
That one's
sort of
definitely more adult.
Yeah.
Maybe high school.
Yeah, I would recommend it for a high schooler. I think that they
Yeah.
would really like it, or high schooler or older. But yeah,
I think she is in high school, right?
Yeah,
They're high
for sure.
schoolers, Yeah.
There's some nudity. It's not full frontal, so fair warning. All right, your turn.
My turn. Okay.
Your
I don't know. I'm just gonna talk about this one
Go,
because
do it.
I read it pretty recently.
Nice.
And it doesn't look short, but it reads so fast. It's a romance, which I think romance novels tend to read pretty fast.
Mm-hmm.
Because you know what the formula is going to be, right? They're going to meet. There's going to be some conflict. At the end, they're going to fall in love. So there's not really twists to a romance, which I think lends itself to reading fast. This one in particular, one to watch, is part narrative, but then there's also like news articles, text threads, which also I think like ups the pace a little bit when you're reading like a text thread between friends. But essentially the story is a plus-size fashion blogger who gives a not great rating to basically The Bachelor in this world. I can't remember what it's called. Main Squeeze.
That's a great
Main
name
Squeeze.
for The Bachelor.
She pans it. She's like, what? Like, this is like not any fun to watch. Like, I don't see anyone who looks like me. This is supposed to be like, you know, America's sweetheart, America falling in love. But like most of the people on these shows do not look like most Americans.
Yeah.
And then the show is like, hey, do you want to be our main squeeze? So now suddenly she's the main character, and she's got, 25 suitors. I'm a sucker for a reality TV romance, which quite often turns into, fake dating.
Sure.
But in this one, of course, she's gonna find her fairy tale, her true love. But yeah, it's fun. The way it's set up is like by episode, or it's like pre-production episode.
Oh, that's fun.
So it tells you how many men are left, and shot on location. So some episodes are in LA, some are in France. But yeah, I inhaled this one.
Nice.
Very fast.
Very cool.
Yeah. Fun.
Yeah, your love of reality TV is well known.
Yeah. It's it's bingeable.
Nice. I also did. We will not talk spoilers here, but I did see the finale of Survivor.
I forgot to watch.
Oh my goodness! How?
Yesterday
How did I
was a day.
Like, I don't watch Survivor.
Yesterday was a day. I got home and I made soup.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I sat and I just ate soup.
Oh,
and
that
then
sounds nice.
I went to bed.
Yesterday was a day for
Yesterday
it,
was a
though.
day.
Yesterday was a day for it. All right. Well,
I
then.
didn't even think about it. And I was reading
That's wild
another
to me.
romance.
Like, I don't watch Survivor, and all I know is the endings of the last 3 episodes, including the finale.
I'm surprised my family chat didn't spoil it.
That's shocking, actually.
Because my brother texted me earlier in the day and was like, finale night.
Finale
Wow.
night.
Okay, well, I have something to look forward
Golly.
to tonight.
There you
That's
go.
what I'm gonna
There
do.
you go. All right, let's do Pumpkinheads. This is also another graphic novel, in a very
Yeah.
different tone.
A romance.
It is a little bit of a romance, but it's also a little bit of a comedy romance.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a rom-com, for sure. Also, this is perfect if you're just like, I don't want winter. I want to go back to fall and the loveliness of that. Here we go. So these two work at like a pumpkin patch where, there's also like a corn maze and a petting zoo and all this other stuff. This is their last day, I think, that they're working together. They're best friends, like best coworker buddies.
Yeah.
And he has a crush on somebody, and she is like, I am going to be your perfect wing person, and we are going to get you that date. Except that she is absolutely in love with him, but she's just like, I'm going to do whatever I can to support you. And thus ensues an entire comedy of errors, where they are constantly being like trying to get from one end of the pumpkin patch to the other to try and talk to his crush and like all this other stuff. In the meantime, they're like oddly getting chased by this angry goat. It's not like a plot point so much as it's just like a running gag. It's cute. They figure it out at the end, obviously. Come on, we expect that. But
Yeah.
short one, also a graphic novel. It's just a fun read. It really genuinely is. It's so cute.
It's very cute.
It's super cute. And they're just like so wholesome and genuine.
It's easy on the brain.
It really is. Like it's just lovely.
Yeah.
And the art is really nice. Like this is Faith Erin Hicks is really good author. Oh yeah. So Rainbow Rowell is a wonderful author, and then Faith Erin Hicks is a wonderful illustrator. And
Together they made a beautiful.
together they are a wonderful team, and we love this book. We talk about it a lot. So
Yeah.
yeah, there you go. Pick that one up.
All right, I will stay cozy.
It was a good, cozy's the word for that one.
We'll talk about this duology both of which are very short. They're novellas.
Well, they're pretty covers, too.
Yeah, so we have A Psalm for the Wild Built is the first one, and then A Prayer for the Crown Shy. These are just like a warm blanket and a mug of tea on a couch.
Yeah.
So in this first one, I wrote myself a little thing for it because I was like, how do I describe this book that's like so simple and yet very deep? So there used to be robots.
Okay.
In our world. There were robots. And then they gained self-awareness.
Love that.
And then they wandered into the wilderness, and no one ever saw them again. This was centuries ago. And now...
So we have hermit robots.
Yes. They just were like,
okay,
we are going away now. But now there is a tea monk. So someone who like pedals around in a little cart with tea and is, everywhere they set up shop. They kind of just ask people like, what do they need? What are you looking for? Like, let me brew you the perfect cup of tea for whatever ails you.
So me.
Yes. And they stumble upon a robot who, like, and at this point, robots are kind of like urban legends. Like,
sure.
Do you remember hundreds of years ago when we had robots?
Uh-huh.
And this robot still has its core directive, which is, what do you need?
Oh.
Which aligns nicely with the tea monks.
Yeah.
So together, they travel around just to like all these little villages, and they're like, what do you need? What do you need here? It's so cute.
Thank you.
It's so cozy.
That's for me.
This is, so in the sequel, so they're like traveling around, and here is them coming back home to where the tea monk is from. And in the first one, the tea monk kind of is like figuring out who they are.
Yeah.
And when they come home, they're like ready to be themselves.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So, yeah.
That's like, that's mine too.
I would say like for the end of the year, these are good. Like,
oh, they sound wonderful.
Set a good tone for the end of the year, the beginning of a new year.
Yeah, I just, I told you yesterday, but like I just started listening to the audiobook for Legends of Lattes, which is just a lovely little cozy read, and I think that could be consumed pretty quickly too.
Similar vibes.
Similar vibes, yeah, for sure.
This one's a little more introspective.
That's nice though. That's good to do.
Yeah.
And I'm always a sucker for anything tea. We now have traditional tea time. We have it in our calendar.
Traditional as in it's our tradition.
Yeah, it is now our tradition.
Not that we're following the traditions
never.
of one.
Never at all. But I personally own an outrageous amount of tea. Oh, and we're getting the halo again. Oh well, let's stick with it. So that one sounds great.
Yeah.
Let's go with another option for you if you want a really short book is poetry. Amanda Lovelace is a very fun poet, and there's many books in this series, and so it's like the mermaid's voice returns in this one, or it's like the princess saves herself in this one, and like all of these books are just, they are short. What is lovely is that they are short. They are a book of poems, so look at all that white space.
Yeah.
Like, that's a lot.
Some poetry collections are not quick reads, I will say.
That is true.
It takes, like, you have to, like, sit with the poem or,
True.
like, you can't just, flip through.
Right.
I would say hers are
Very
like,
accessible.
Very accessible.
Yeah.
There are metaphors, there are poetic devices, but they're not, like, as hard as poetry can sometimes feel.
Yeah, like, I find poetry to be intimidating.
Yes, that's a good word for it.
Sure. Yeah. It's I describe it as the fractions of the literary world.
Yeah.
But like little poems like this of she didn't kiss frogs. She kissed great white sharks.
Yeah.
Next.
Yeah.
Like
and these would be ones that I could see someone who is into poetry, who is into this style, like reading multiple times and
right,
getting different things out of it. But yeah, it is.
And these are like little fairy tale-ish. There's a lot of it's just got good tone to it, really. We really like these a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like we got teens who really like these. And
Yeah, and that's maybe a good distinction is that like we have these shelved in YA.
Yes.
They're written for teenagers.
Yeah.
I would say for high school, definitely accessible to middle school.
Yeah.
So as adults, does make it a little easier.
Yeah, I would say so. So yeah, if you like your sort of like fairy tale retellings, but in a different flavor, give this a try.
Yeah. The fairy tale aspect does help too, because it tends to be stories that we're familiar with.
Yeah, you can kind of like connect to it because you already you're familiar at least with like the source material type of a thing. It's not like directly narrative or anything where it's not like following a story. Each of the poems is a little bit standalone, but there is some continuity to some of them, but that's part of the fun. So if you want to try out like a straight up poetry book, if you've never done that before, these are good ones to start on. So really any of the Amanda Lovelace ones I think are good like sink your teeth into like just starting poetry books.
Yeah.
Fun.
All right, well, I guess I'll stick with fairy tales. My next duology. I went with a lot of like duology novellas.
I love that for you though. I was trying to find these in the shelves and I was like, there's emptiness, and that Rachel was here first.
Yeah. I mean, but like we were saying with fairy tales, for people who are familiar with the fairy tales, your brain is not working on like, what is the plot here? What is the story here? You kind of already know, which I think, makes it go a little faster. So here I have a spindle splintered and a mirror mended. So the first one is, it's Sleeping Beauty in the multiverse. That's what it is. It's a person from our world slips into a Sleeping Beauty universe, but there's many. She travels around, and by the end of it is like, actually I'm good at this, and this is what I do now. Yeah, I can like rescue princesses from whatever situations they find themselves in, which is where we pick up in the second one, except this time the evil queen wants out.
Ooh.
And is like, I heard you can travel through multiverses, and the way that the evil queen reaches out to the main character, Zinnia, I think her name is through a mirror.
All right.
She's like, hey, help a girl out.
Yeah.
So
that's fun.
Yeah, it is fun. And these ones too, they're already short.
Yeah.
But they also have like these cool paper cut.
Oh, nice.
Illustrations.
Oh, that one's pretty. I like
which
that.
actually like they're a part of the story. Like
cool.
Specifically in this one, which is, again about like a multiverse. Like these are like multiple of the paper cuts kind of like split and reattached and multiverse themselves.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's neat.
Yeah.
There you go. Sort of on the same line is the Sleeper and the Spindle. There we go. We cover up the window. Also a very pretty cover, because if you kind of look in, she's underneath there. So this is like kind of a mix of Snow White and Sleeping Beauty. It's also heavily illustrated as well, some pages more so than others. Incredibly short, as you can see, teeny, teeny, tiny. But basically this version of Snow White is going to go and, like, she's the queen herself, and she's informed, like, hey, there's part of the kingdom, or there's a kingdom over there that seems to be having these issues with, like, a sleeping curse. And Snow White gathers her dwarves, and they go and figure out that nonsense. There's the sleeper. It's good. It's a twist for sure. It reads like a aged up fairy tale, I suppose. It definitely is not shying away from darkness in any way, shape, or form. But it's got some like good story themes on this one, so I like it, and it's also really pretty. also kind of going with the fairy tale line of things. This is also, this is a graphic novel. This is The Magic Fish, and you know, the graphic novel itself is really pretty. So this is following a boy who, well, just the back kind of explains it so very well. So in fairy tales, the prince falls in love with the princess, but Tien has a different story to tell. His parents are refugees struggling to learn English, and he doesn't know how to come out to them in Vietnamese. If he doesn't even have the right words, how can he ever know if his parents will accept him? The answer is in fairy tales, a language that Tien and his parents share. Tien learns from his favorite stories as he navigates the world with the help of friends, family, and fairy tales. So this has a lot of like Vietnamese fairy tales. So if you want to do perhaps a culture of fairy tales that you yourself might not be personally familiar with, this is a great way to sort of like be introduced to that in such a like accessible way, and also like the illustrations are just so pretty on some of these things. So yeah, give that one a shot. It's really nice. It's a good story.
So it is. I like that one.
Yeah.
All right. I am going to bring it back to poetry a little bit,
Y'all.
but instead of this being a poetry collection, it is a novel in verse. So one story told through poetry.
Yeah. Verse
which-
novels are phenomenal.
Yeah.
They read so fast. Since it is in verse, verse is sort of musical in its own way. It's got like a natural rhythm to it, and it just speeds through. I
Yeah,
think the first verse novel I ever read was like super thick, and I just blasted through that. I was like, this is magic.
Yeah.
Like,
It's a joy. It feels
Yeah.
really good as a reader to get through it like that. We give this to kids all the time.
It's so good.
Specifically this one, because it is a realistic story. It's about twins, two kids who are in high school. They love playing basketball. Their dad was a basketball player. Now they're playing basketball. But one of them is also into like poetry. So I think that's cool too, when it's like, oh, you know, I just put it in verse. Like, no, there's a reason why, because one of the characters is a poet.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of about these brothers trying to figure out their future. You know, they do both enjoy basketball, but one of them feels like, I'm kind of being pulled in this other direction. And you know, what will my father think? Because he was the one who like really pushed us into basketball.
Yeah.
So yeah, good like family, school drama, but with poetry. And what's really cool about this one
Is my next pick is the crossover, but graphic novel. Yeah, it's so what I like about the graphic novel is it follows this really cool color scheme of just black, white, and orange.
and I think we've checked before, like it is the exact same text.
It is the exact same text. It flows
they've
like
illustrated
the same way, but
the
they just
poems.
added illustrations and put it in. Now it like with the novel itself, you've got a lot of blank space on the pages and whatnot, because it's like natural poems. So it does feel a little bit more heavy and wordy here, but you're also getting the benefit of the illustrations. So it's really just like personal preference on that regard. Or honestly, I think that you could probably read both of them and get, you know, different experiences out of it. Like if you kind of want to explore with that, I would recommend reading this one first, and then like, you know, see it in your own eyes, and then transition over to this one and seeing how that sort of plays its own game, because it's a different experience for sure. So there are options for you. They're pretty good.
Yeah, there are several books that have done this where they've either turned it into a graphic novel or it's a novel in verse, and then they illustrate it.
Which is nice. Yeah.
It works.
It
So,
sure
so we
did.
keep doing it.
Yeah. All right. That was fun.
That's fun.
That was fun. All right. We'll go with options for you. So graphic novels are one thing. Manga is another. Manga is a super easy way to just read a whole bunch of books. You're just going through a series. But I trick you. These are not manga, surprisingly. These are things called light novels. So they are written narrative stories that are, some of them start off as light novels. The like transition of light novel, manga, anime is such an interesting thing. Sometimes a story starts as a light novel and then it is moved to a manga or an anime. And then sometimes it might start as a manga or an anime and then get light novel stories. But we've got a good handful of them here at the library. So we've got different short stories from like the Naruto universe. So if you like those characters, you already kind of understand the world a bit. These are just such an accessible way to like just jump in and get more story to it. And they're also really short. The narrative styles on these are also super accessible. We've also got some stories from Demon Slayer. We've got a couple of these books. These tend to be a little bit more like collections of short stories, which is also a great option.
Yeah, it usually is like exploring side characters or like parts of the timeline that don't really show up as much in the main run.
Exactly, or like just additional stories. Which is fun. We also have like Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls from a Dungeon? I think this started as a light novel and then it was adapted, so we've got like the original run on those. And they're just fun. Yeah. They're good times.
It's like deleted scenes.
Yeah.
Side
A lot of times it can be like that, or like you want to like read. I think sometimes people will be like, "Oh, the show is coming out or the movie's coming out. I want to read the book." There you go. Like these are just things, but again, they're super short. They're really accessible, and they can be a fun, good time. Where does the sun come from? I swear.
There's not a clock over there.
It's so bright.
Where does the sun come from?
Where do I place my head to make that a little less jarring? So yeah, we've got a good handful of light novels, and we're actually kind of like increasing our collection in that too, because I think they're great.
They're popular. Kids like 'em.
And it's a world that you kind of like understand and know. Sort of like the appeal of fan fiction, you know? So
yeah.
All right, your turn.
I'm gonna take a left turn here.
Yeah.
And talk about nonfiction, because there are some nonfiction books that are doorstops, and if you start one today, you're probably not gonna finish it until next year. But there's some nonfiction that is quicker, and in particular, I think cookbooks can read pretty fast, because you're not reading every word.
No.
But I do still believe you can read a cookbook.
Oh, you can, because they're not just recipes.
Yeah.
I mean, they are. There's a lot of recipes, but there's also like a lot of times there's stories, or there's little tidbits of history, or there's a lot actually in cookbooks.
Yeah. And some, depending on the angle, they're like, let me teach you a little bit about food prep, or about the basics you should have in your pantry to make all sorts of things. Or they might be highly themed.
Oh yeah.
Like The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
The official cookbook.
Oh yeah.
Not Wicked. This is The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, and it is distinctly The Wizard of Oz.
Yes.
And I think distinctly it's the movie.
But I had so much fun looking through this one, and just seeing like
there's some fun stuff in there.
How they decided to like turn the movie into a whole feast.
Oh yeah.
And
we've got a ton of those. We've got like a Harry Potter one. I know we've got a Downton Abbey one.
Ones.
There's Game of Thrones and Lord of the Rings. All of it.
I feel like Beetlejuice probably has one. Just like any like popular IP, I think at some point it's probably come out with a cookbook.
Now we will the food may not be great. Like sometimes it really feels like they're just scraping the bottom of the barrel and just to get a themed recipe, but sometimes that's fun too.
One I was really impressed by, and they have it split up by like locations. So chapter 1 is Kansas, chapter 2 is Over the Rainbow, chapter 3 Follow the Yellow Brick Road, chapter 4 the Castle, chapter 5 Emerald City. And it, like, in the Kansas one, you're getting dinner on the farm rolls.
Oh, yum.
Right? So it's,
I want rolls.
in Kansas, maybe. The peach iced tea. Auntie M's prize-winning pulled pork cinnamon roll, which sounds so good.
We're eating lunch after this, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But you know, it's got a little description at the top.
Yeah.
And then the recipe. I'm just like looking at these pulled pork cinnamon rolls.
Oh my gosh. Goodness.
My mouth is watering.
I know.
But then as we go into the more fantasy part of it, there's these like
oh yeah, that one's
sorts of
wild.
rainbow stuff.
The over the rainbow cake.
These
Manners.
right here, the little rainbow sandwiches. So I feel like they did a good job of thinking like what would Good Witch pink lemonade like? You know.
Yeah.
And then we get into Follow the Yellow Brick Road. We've got some martinis.
Mm-hmm. Lots of different
We
stuff.
have apples, and then of course.
Oh, that one's so pretty.
Emerald City. We're getting a lot of green stuff. But
Yeah.
like, this is cool. I really want to have like a Wizard of Oz dinner party.
I mean, and this is how you can do it. You need
This
these.
is how you can do it. And there's pictures from the
Yeah,
movie.
over there. Yeah, and there's like little stories and things too. And so yeah, a bunch of different kinds of cookbooks are always a grand time. And some of them are really nice references to hold
so,
on
like,
to.
This one is less cookbook and more like strategy. It's strategies for feeding yourself when cooking feels impossible. So you're not going to see, straight up just a recipe in here, but like there's a chapter on like how can you microwave something and still make it like taste good.
Oh, that's nice.
What is this? How to cook when you don't know how to fry, slice, chop, or mash.
Oh, that's very nice.
Yeah.
This might be like
How to use a blender to make something.
if you have a person who is going away to college or starting their own, yeah, pork cinnamon rolls, Itchy.
Yeah.
I
know.
I'll take a picture of it for you. But yeah, if you've got, for this book though, if you've got like perhaps somebody starting out living on their own and they have to fend for themselves for the first time, this might be a good gift.
Yeah, and just talks through like eggs.
Mhm.
Like you're not gonna see a lot of egg recipes in a cookbook, but
Right.
like here they talk through. I love this. It's called Eggs Part 2: The Eggening.
The eggening.
Here's how we get a crispy fried egg. Here's how to do an omelet. Like, let's talk about what a frittata is.
Yeah.
That's
That's
again,
nice.
Yeah, it's not recipes. It is text.
Yeah, it's
But
picture books usually have cookbooks usually have tons of pictures. This
Yeah.
one definitely doesn't.
This one does not.
This one's more instructive, but that's kind of nice for like sometimes you just need somebody to explain to you what on earth this means
Yeah.
and how do you do this.
And again, this may not be one that you're reading cover to cover,
Mhm.
but dive
Maybe you
in.
are. Even then, that one's a pretty short one. So.
Yeah.
not
I
a
like
half
that it
bad
has
idea.
like little charts and helpful things. And I do feel like there are not just in cookbooks or in cooking, there's different topics within nonfiction that are going to be more like this, where it's like a quick overview of something, has a lot of images, has charts or graphs, or it's not just wall-to-wall text.
Right. Yeah.
It
which
can
is
be
nice.
something just a little easier on the brain
Yeah.
at the end of the year.
And also make you feel like you understand the world a little bit better,
Yeah.
which is nice.
Yeah.
Oof.
You have two pass in the woods.
There are. So I have two graphic novels here. One is
Mine are
incredibly
also two
heavy,
different.
and one is incredibly light. Let's start with the heavy, and we'll end on the light.
Okay, you
That sounds
do
good.
your heavy, I'll do my heavy,
Okay.
and then light and light.
Like that. So like I said, these are both graphic novels. This is also a book that is a graphic novel adaptation of a very well-known novel itself, and this is Speak by Laurie Halse Anderson. This is very heavy, incredibly heavy. Also, it's a graphic novel, so it's incredibly heavy. But it is both the standard novel and the graphic novel are incredibly fast reads. The content, though, is going to hit with you. There's I have such a hard time with actually describing this book. This is about a girl, Melinda, who is starting her freshman year at high school, and somehow, like 8th grade, going into high school, like over the summer, she had friends. Somewhere along the line, she lost all of her friends, and she becomes like a massive outcast. And she just changes completely. Her personality is different. There's something going on. Something has happened. And through the course of this, we find out what has happened. I will say, there's trigger warnings in this book, for sure. I don't even want to say what trigger warnings, because it kind of gives a lot of things away. But it's dark. It's heavy. But I think it's a very poignant read, and I think it's a very intentional story. And this author does not hold back from difficult topics in any way. There's one of her books is about eating disorders, and these books usually show up on book challenges and on banned books week's lists. She does not hold back in any way, shape, or form. But the stories, I think, are genuine, and definitely people's perspective and their experience in very, very horrendous experiences. So if you like those types of stories where they are sad, but there's hope in there too, where somebody is struggling with very difficult topics, then these might be good ones for you. If those are not stories that you want to read, give it a pass. The graphic novel does allow for, a different level of accessibility. I don't think
because this one is not the entire text of the book.
Right. It's an adaptation, for sure.
It does adapt it.
Yeah. So I don't think that there's anything in here that is graphic.
Well, and it helps too. It's black, white, shades of gray.
Yes.
So it does.
Yeah. I would say it's
mute it a little bit.
It's a little poetical,
yeah.
I guess. That's what I mean. So yeah, it doesn't read the same way that the novel itself does.
Yeah,
and
it's a different experience.
Yeah, it's a little bit more somber, I suppose. Whereas I feel the original novel feels more lost. That. I don't know. Read it for yourself. If these are things that you're interested in, read them for yourselves and experience it for yourself. But it is a good option. If you're I want a quick read, but I want something that's going to sit with me and that I can kind of sit with, these are great. But yes, make sure it's something that you actually want to read, for sure.
Mine is dark in a different way.
Ooh.
Because it's also a little, not silly, but it is a little silly. We have this shelved in fantasy. I would say it's more horror. This is horror mermaids.
I mean,
can't really see what
she's
Rolling in the Deep
let's
is the title.
in front of she's
Yeah.
getting grabbed by
She's
some
getting grabbed.
some angry mermaid. Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, it is very quick.
Incredibly.
It is the tale of the SS Atargatis,
Okay.
which received funding from a TV network to do deep sea research. But in order to be able to do that, they also had to film a fake documentary on mermaids. So think, History Channel or National Geographic. Maybe not that one as much. They tend more towards straight science, but sometimes the History Channel that may have a deep dive into a historical, mythical being.
That's fun.
Is basically what they're doing. We'll get some footage of mermaids. So this is the story of that voyage, which will be the last voyage that the ship takes. And there will be no survivors because they find mermaids.
Well then.
It gets very brutal, very, very gruesome, very quickly.
Right.
But so yes, it is horror. It is gory. We have it shelved in adult. But it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I think.
It's also super short.
Super short. And there is a longer, I can't remember if it's the prequel or the sequel or in what order I even read them. But there's a longer story that it's kind of alongside of it about the sister of someone who's on the ship trying to figure out what happened.
Oh, fun.
Yeah,
That's cool.
that one's less quick.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
if you enjoy it, I would recommend it.
I mean, go for it.
I love this one so much.
All right, now in a complete different tone shift, here's The Prince and the Dressmaker. Also a graphic novel, and a really fun one, honestly.
Yeah.
We did this one for, was it summer reading? Like
Summer? I don't
winter,
remember.
one of our readings.
We read it.
We read it, and we recommended it, and we gave it out for free, and it was a good time. So you have, she is a dressmaker, and that is a prince. And the prince is like, but I don't want to wear the things that people are telling me to wear. I want to look like this lovely lady up here.
I want to wear boring boy clothes.
Boring boy clothes.
Yeah,
They're so
fabulous
lame.
Dress.
And he's just like stuck with the pressures of being a prince and like all of the, being nobility is hard enough, and like you're being prepped to be, you know, the ruler of everything, and that's a lot of pressure on somebody. And he's just like, I want to be free, and I want to just like kind of, just have a breath of fresh air and just kind of get out of all of this. So he kind of makes friends with this seamstress. Like he literally like has her blindfolded and brought in, and he like covers his face. So it's just like tries to be mysterious. It fails horrifically immediately. And they kind of agree like, okay, I will make you these absolutely fabulous dresses, and no one will know that it's you, and that'll kind of allow you to kind of like get out into the real world, see the real world for how it actually is, and, you know, get to explore and party a bit, and, you know, just let off some steam. And it's really, really sweet. It also goes a little romancy, and it's just gentle and kind. It's a little bit it's a little Prince and the Pauper like retelling, but it's also a little bit like The Emperor's New Clothes too. Like it's a bit of a mix mash of several different like old stories and fables and stuff.
Some Cinderella in there, like
Little
who is
Cinderella
that
in
girl
there.
in the
Yeah.
fabulous gown.
It's a grand time. I forgot that part. I just saw the end of it and I was like, oh, that part was so sweet.
Yeah.
It's cute. It's just stinking cute. And honestly, some of these dresses are amazing.
They're so good.
Yeah, they're really, really fun.
that
So
one a lot.
I'd recommend them. It's a good romp. It feels like it's bigger, but since it's a graphic novel, it just blasts on through. And it's just delightful. So yeah, do that.
I have one last duology, but I couldn't find the first on the shelf. We're doing a shelf smush right now.
Yes.
In preparation for our construction.
Yeah, which I will
So,
get to in a moment.
Things are a little odd.
Yeah.
But this is the second. The second book is Defect. The first one's called Finna. I love these so much.
Yeah.
Finna is about a store that's not IKEA, but it's not IKEA.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
They have like furniture that you have to put together and a maze-like path through the store, and maybe there's meatballs in the cafeteria.
It's absolutely IKEA.
It's not IKEA.
It's IKEA.
And so one day in this store, an elderly customer goes missing,
Oh.
and 2 employees are tasked to find her.
Oh.
She has entered a portal into another world.
It's IKEA.
So, sometimes when you go through those little side doors and you're like, how do I get from kids to kitchen? I don't.
Yeah.
It's
Oh, yeah. The shortcut doors.
the shortcut door. She took the wrong shortcut door.
Oh, no.
And these 2 employees have to find her. The thing about these 2 employees is both of them hate this job. They're minimum wage.
Okay.
And they broke up last week.
Awesome.
So it's a little awkward because one of them wanted to break up, the other one did not want to break up,
Oh.
as usually happens in a breakup. They have to like track this woman across the multiverse.
Oh, man.
Furniture will try to eat them.
Awesome.
There will be like cloned employees that sort of look like their coworkers, but something's off about them.
Nice. That sounds
Yeah, we've
fun.
got this shelved in sci-fi.
Yeah.
They have, these weird like multiverse tools that they have to use to get through. And this one, so it's same world, but we're gonna focus on a different character named Derek, who's a loyal employee, loves his job. But
Good for you, Derek.
is not feeling well, so he takes a sick day, and his manager questions his loyalty. How dare
rude.
you? So to prove his loyalty to the company, he gets put on a special inventory task.
Okay.
And he's also given several other Dereks to help him with this task. Yeah, and he's doing it like after the store is closed. Things get a little weird when the store is closed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if you've ever been in an IKEA and thought something's off here,
Like, why is the floor wibbling?
yeah,
Why does the floor shake? Maybe it's because a portal opened.
could be because a portal opened. So yeah, this author has tapped into that.
That's
weird
fun.
feeling in these. So yeah, these are a lot of fun. They're very funny, and they make a lot of great points on to like what are we doing here?
Yeah.
What are we doing here?
What are we doing here? I. Okay, well, so those are all shortish reads that will hopefully blast you through your,
Your reading goals.
your reading goals
Take
for the
you
end of the
into the new
years,
year.
or you just need something that's like short that you don't have to commit a lot of, heart space to. Although,
Yeah.
no matter what, you're committing a lot of heart space to that one. So take that with advisement. But yeah, good books. So lots of things going on. Later today on Twitch, at 7 o'clock, you can come back and hang out with Matt. He's going over resume basics. And tomorrow, are you prepared for tomorrow? We are doing Let's Play. That's going to be at 11 o'clock. We're doing Let's Play Something Cozy. And yeah, it should be fun. We're looking
Because
forward
maybe
to it.
you don't want to finish your reading goal and you just want to play something cozy.
Absolutely. The kids.
Or maybe you have already finished your reading goal.
That's
You're like, I'm done.
You're just like, I need a
Reading
reward.
bankruptcy.
Yeah.
Done.
Let's play some video games.
Yeah.
We got. I've picked a game. I've picked two. I just need to see how they work on our Switch. But these are games that you can check out at the public library, or put them on hold and they'll come to you from a different library. Who knows? But yeah, it should be fun. We're looking forward to that one. So that's tomorrow at 11 o'clock. Within the library, there's going to be a lot of things going on in the next several weeks. We're starting up our construction. You can already notice that some things have changed a lot. Some furniture is going missing.
Not missing. We know where it is.
We do know where it is. It's just not here anymore.
not here anymore.
And it never will come back.
Yeah.
Because eventually it will be replaced with brand new furniture, which we are very excited about.
Yes.
The vending machines will be going away. The cafe will be being emptied. We're prepping up and we're getting started on a bunch of construction stuff. So things are going to be weird.
Books are shifting.
Yes, we're
to
starting
make
up on
space.
that.
Yeah.
Some access to some rooms won't be available for a bit. Other rooms they will. But the good news is that the library is staying open through all of this. It's just going to look and be and feel a little bit different, but we will be here for you the whole time. And we will be doing this the whole time. So that's the plan
The
anyway.
cool thing about this is we don't need a grand room. We
Nope.
can just do it in a little closet somewhere.
We can fight with the sun anywhere.
We could find a windowless closet.
We just need the internet. So all right, I think that's pretty much it for now. Hopefully Matt sees you later tonight, and hopefully we see you tomorrow at 11. So see you next time. Later, friends. Bye.
Bye.